Good morning. Today is April 2nd. I want to give you an update on the seed planting process that we started about 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago we planted broccoli, cauliflower, basil, and peppers. And so a week ago the broccoli and cauliflower had come up and grown pretty well, so I moved it down to my basement underneath the grow lights. I have the plants positioned about 6 inches below my grow lights, and the grow lights are on a timer running about 18 hours a day. So these seedlings are doing really well. I trimmed them back so that it'll only be 3 to 4 plants per each of these little 6-pack modules there. So those are off to a good start. So it's time to take a look at the basil and the peppers. And these take a little longer to germinate, so they have just kind of come through, and they've been in my office window, which is upstairs. It's nice and warm, and these bags kind of keep the moisture in there, so I don't need to water them. So not too bad. That's the basil. These are the peppers, and they're doing all right too. And so a week ago, I also planted tomatoes, and they have come through rather quickly here. They look nice. As you can see, I got 3 different varieties of tomatoes, and these are all going to be ready to transition down to the grow lights in the basement. One thing about the grow lights is they keep the plants growing nice and straight rather than them, reaching for the windows. That's why you see them all reaching in another direction. So we've got Jet Stars, we've got Romas, and we've got cherry tomatoes. So before I transition the plants down to the basement, one thing that I do is you've got to think ahead a few weeks as these plants begin to grow. You don't want to have 5 or 6 of the plants growing in each little square here. So instead of trying to pull seedlings out and disturbing the roots, what I typically do is just go in here and I use a pair of scissors and I just trim them down to the ground so that I only have a handful. See, I got too many plants here, so it's just an easy way to weed out your plants here. And I'm going to do the same thing with the tomatoes. There's just too many of them, so I'm going to trim them. I only need about 6 plants of each, so that means only 1 per square. So I'm going to trim it down so I only have maybe 2 or 3 per each square. And the same thing with the basil. I only need maybe 2 per, so I'm going to trim those guys back as well. So that's kind of the next step before we kind of move forward, is to trim these guys down, move the rest of these new plants down to the grow lights, and they're going to be nice and happy like the cauliflower and the broccoli. And right now they only need to be watered maybe twice a week or so, and they're very content down there. So thanks for joining today. Wishing everyone a happy spring and happy gardening.